Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew Wolfe here with Cash Henry Russell, ready to rock, talking about the 5 things you need to do before buying here in Boulder, Colorado. So the first thing that I think is good advice, and this is kind of in general, we'll get philosophical here for a second, but why are we doing this? Why are we moving to Boulder? So there's a lot of reasons why someone might do it. Maybe your job is relocating you out here, right? Maybe you work from home. Boulder's got a massive work from home population. Boulder's where you want to hang your hat.
Right.
Maybe you're an investor, like, hey man, college town, consistent renters, great place to be, a town that's growing, a college that's growing, right? Maybe you have a kid that's going to that college, right? And you're saying like, hey, rather than pay for dorm housing, why don't I get like a 2-bedroom condo and he can rent to one of his buddies and I'll decide in 4 or 5 years if I want to keep that condo or sell it, right? There's a lot of reasons why, and all of those kind of come with different strategies. We want to make sure we're optimizing the return. Why are you buying Colorado? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think that's a great idea because you really need to focus on why specifically you're buying in Colorado, right? Because that's going to determine what type of loan that you do. It's going to determine what area that you look at. You know, Boulder obviously is great, but there are some surrounding areas that are very close to Boulder that maybe you get a little bit more bang for your buck, right? So I think it's super important that you identify the main reason that you're moving out here. And from there, then we as a team can structure a program that's going to give you the best result.
100%, man. And it's all about strategy. And the next thing I think I want to talk about today is let's get you pre-approved.
Oh, yes.
Let's make that, you know, the only reason why it's not step 1 is because making a decision is step 1.
Right. That's exactly.
Once you've made the choice that Boulder's where you want to be, step 2 is talk to Cash. Get pre-approved because he's going to want to know, why are we doing this, right? And he's going to want to structure a loan process that makes the most sense. So talk to me a little about that.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that we have to look at different types of houses. We have to look at different types of loans. So, you know, if they've decided, like you said, hey, I want to move out here for my child to go to CU Boulder, and I want them to rent out the other room, and I'm going to get a condo. Well, what comes with a condo that you don't think about? Well, HOA, right? So now we have to think about that, and we have to really understand what the HOA average fee is, right? Because that's going to really affect your overall pre-approval. You know, a person that qualifies for a house at $400,000 only qualifies for a condo at $300,000 because that HOA fee we have to actually put on top of that mortgage payment. So that's one of the things that we like to look at. Hence the reason you've got to identify what you want to do, right? So we could also look at it from the standpoint of an investment. Maybe you buy a duplex. Maybe you live on one side and you rent the other side out until your child goes to school, and now you rent both sides out, right? So that's a different type of loan that we do. It's a different type of program that we're going to apply to that. So identifying exactly what you want, super important. Identifying the right loan product, that's my job. Identifying the right rate and the right type of loan, that's my job, right? But if we do this and you let us know exactly what you're looking for, the Cash team will get you taken care of, that's for sure.
That's right, man. And having that like foundation in place of like, hey, here's what I reasonably qualify for, but here's what I really want to spend, right? And that's something I know that Henry really sits down with his clients and make sure they're taken care of, because just because you can qualify for X amount of dollars doesn't mean that it's a smart decision for you to do, right? So we always want to go back to, why am I doing this?
Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should pay it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the big things that we're going to really have to talk about in Boulder, because like you said, we have properties in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. But a lot of properties are $800,000, $900,000. So that's a significant amount. And unless you're being relocated, you know, that's going to be something that we're really going to have to look at to ensure that it makes sense. That's why we do a comprehensive Zoom call with all of our clients, an initial call, and we really try to extract from you exactly what you're looking to do. And then from that, we give you options. We're never going to give you just one option. We're always going to give you 3 options. That's one thing that you'll always do with the Cash team. And we're going to look at those 3 options, and then we're going to make a recommendation. My job as your professional is to ensure that whatever recommendation I make to you is based on the information that you've given me, and then based on my knowledge of the area. That's why you're coming to Andrew and myself, as we are the experts in the area.
Exactly right. And it's funny. So you talked about kind of figuring out where you want to live, the neighborhood, the areas. That's step 3 for me. I figured out the Cash. Now, where do I want to live? What right? Because Boulder in and of itself has some different vibes depending on where you want to be.
It does.
So you have downtown Boulder, Pearl Street area that's got a little bit more of a city vibe. It's going to be a little closer to Denver than some other parts of Boulder, right? You've got the Hill, which is going to be a lot more college students choose to make their home there, right? So in A lot of people love to live around that really dynamic environment, right?
Yes.
As you head down to South Boulder, you're going to have access to Denver and the airport a little more easily.
Right.
As you head to North and East Boulder, get a little bit newer parts of town, right? The homes are a little newer. You got Wonder of the Lake up there. There's a lot of reasons why you might choose that.
Right.
And of course, I know you're a big fan of some of the surrounding areas.
I am. I am. I'm one of those people that loves to get out around Boulder. There's Broomfield and Louisville and all the other areas that are right around there. And the nice thing about it is that we have a highway called 36, and 36 connects all of that. So to your point, even if you're further out, you have quick access to everything. And that's a huge thing.
Yeah, because if you choose to hang your hat in Louisville,
Right.
Longmont, Gun Barrel, right? Some of these surrounding neighborhoods, I mean, they're not giving nothing away there,
No?
but you can certainly save on like the average purchase price in Boulder in essentially living in Boulder, right? From a
Right.
lifestyle perspective.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think that's one of the biggest things to do is narrow that down, have a couple of options, because the last thing we want to do when you're out here, we want to make sure we're leveraging your time as best we can when you're out here.
Yes.
So that means we want to have like it down to a couple of neighborhoods that we can help it, and maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 homes in each of those neighborhoods. So that when you're here, you can not only shop, but you can also enjoy and introduce yourself to the lifestyle of Boulder. Because number 4 thing that I want to talk about here is making sure that you get out there and enjoy Boulder when you're living.
This is paradise for anyone that loves outdoors. There are a lot of states that I love to visit. There's a lot of cities that I love to visit, but there's only one place that I call home. Right. And that's Colorado. And I feel like Boulder is kind of like the essence of Colorado.
Really?
You've got the mountains, you've got the little bit of the city, you've got the college town feel.
Yeah.
So like you said, if I'm feeling like just going to Pearl Street, I can go down to Pearl Street, have a nice drink, have a nice dinner, and just kind of walk. The city is very walkable, which is a huge thing. But then right there behind you, you've got mountains. If you want to go hiking, if you want to go biking, I moved from Arizona here and I used to bike all the time out there. I started biking in Colorado. It's not even, I can't even compare the two.
No, it's different.
I can't compare the two because our weather is so much better and I can get out there and do all those things whenever I want to. So understanding that you're in what I consider the outdoor paradise is definitely a huge thing. And that's why you want to move here. That's one of the main reasons why you want to move here.
Yeah, and I would say don't wait. Right?
Don't wait.
So
Oh, goodness.
I think one of the things, this is often what happens to us, just as humans, we move to a new place or to a new job or to whatever. We like have a tendency to wait and try to like find our footing a little bit before we go out there. I'm going to challenge you guys, when you move to Boulder, get out there and enjoy yourself.
Just go.
If you're a bike rider, it's one of, if not the most bike-friendly city in the whole country, right?
Yes.
If you are like me, a person who likes to do jiu-jitsu and likes to lift, go join a gym, go walk in. Everyone's cool.
Yes.
Just go introduce yourself, and it's kind of on us as new transplants here, especially in the city that has a lot of transplants, to engage. The city's very friendly. They will adopt you, but it's on you to go introduce yourself.
I'll tell you, I was once in Boulder and I was at a breakfast place and the people next to us, they asked us, are you from here? And I said, no, we're from Phoenix, Arizona. And they said, oh, wow, you got to try this or you got to try that. The people are so friendly, so accommodating. They're going to automatically give you places to go, things to do. But I'll tell you this, the one thing that you're going to have to get used to is everyone smiling and talking to you all the time. Because if you're coming from the East Coast, that's going to be a little different for you. It's a little different vibe. So the people are so sweet here, so nice. And the biking thing, the bikes are almost annoying. It is so bike friendly in Boulder. If you like to bike, you have found your place.
And so the number 5 thing I would say is talked about kind of having our why, having a good plan in place, talking with lending, having some things narrowed down to where we want to live, and then having the option to throw ourselves in the culture. I would say the number 5 thing I would say is have a timeline.
Yes.
Have a plan. We talked about building the plan, but now it's time to show some commitment to that plan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think oftentimes, if you're moving out here for work and, you're getting hired by Google or someone along those lines that says like, hey, Henry, we got to be here by June 30th. Right. You got a plan, baby. You got to.
They've given you your timeline, right?
But like most things, if we set the goal or we set the desire to move to Boulder, Colorado, and we don't have a hard timeline like that, we have to hold ourselves accountable to a timeline.
Yes.
So I would say, circle that date in your calendar. It's like, hey, I want to have my house listed at my current house by such and such date, and I want to move to Boulder by this date.
Right.
And then we have something we can build off of, because I don't know if you've had this experience. We both work a lot of relocation people. Oftentimes when people want to move anywhere, but let's just use Boulder as our example today, it becomes kind of like a cute idea in their head. Like, we need to, with the family, we're going to move to Boulder someday. It's like, well, if we have the means, the desire, and the opportunity, let's make it a plan today. right? And
Well, that's huge, especially on the loan side of things, because, we lock the rate for a certain amount of time. We can lock it for 15 days, 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. But let me tell you, the longer we lock that rate, the higher the rate's going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just talk about it from dollars and cents. Right. We don't ever want to do that. And with yourself, when you're looking at properties out there, properties are going pretty quickly sometimes. So we don't have a lot of time to be able to wait or think about it. Once you make your plan, and obviously you've done all the things that you need to do, you figured out what area you want to be in, you figured out whether it's going to be an investment or a primary home, you figured out exactly what you want to spend, you figured out all those things, you got your pre-approval letter, you know what you can do. At that point, you're really ready to go.
Yeah.
Right. And now if you have a property in your current house or in your current state, then we obviously have programs for that where we can take care of you buying your next property before you even sell that property. Right. So we're going to give you a way to bridge the loan from your current property to the new property. And then we're going to give you 6 months to be able to sell that other property. So the nice thing about that is that you don't have to wait till you sell your current property to move to Boulder. So you can take that out of your, I got to wait until I do this, because now you don't have to wait to do that. So again, timeline is important. Understanding, our market is obviously Andrew's job, which is going to do a great job for you. But I'm telling you right now, if you find the house that is of your dreams and you think that house is going to be here for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, it probably isn't, unfortunately. So you got to be ready to pull the trigger when it's time to pull the trigger.
Yeah. And guys, it's really important to everything drives back to our why, right? Like, why am I doing this? So if we have a really strong understanding of why we're doing this and we can meet those requirements, I think it's time to make a move, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And, try to be reasonable. If we put this plan together, it's probably good for 30 to 90 days.
Easily.
But it's not good for a year. No. It's probably not good for 6 months. All that work and all that data we pulled together is not ever, right? It's kind of lapses at about that 4 to 6 month range.
It does.
Right?
It does.
So,
and actually for rates, obviously rates change on a daily basis, right?
Yes.
So it could go up, it could go down. One of the reasons why we're offering our 1% temporary buy down right now is because rates have been ticking up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, in an effort to help our buyers, whether relocating or whether they're already here in Denver, Colorado, and we're running this through June 30th, right? So here's another timeline thing for us, right? So if you purchased or if you locked a home or locked a rate by June 30th of this year, we're going to give you the first 12 months 1% lower than the actual rate. So if we lock you in at 6%, your first 12 months are going to be at 5%. In Boulder, that's going to save you $350 to $400, which we talked about is probably about pay the same amount as your HOA fee, give or take.
Right? Yeah,
give or take, right? So I'm basically telling you, let's look at how we can save money in that first year. Let's ease you into this payment, because it may be higher than what you're already paying in your current state. But again, this is something that is very important that you understand on rates and timing and things of that nature, because if you happen to catch the rates even lower, great. But if rates tick up, that's not where you want to be, right? I'm always a bird in hand kind of guy, right? If I know where the rate is right now, I'll take that than two in the bush.
Well, and obviously, once you're kind of into your loan for a year or so, you can always refi later if rates move in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Until that, Tesla knocks out the time machine, we can't go back in time and buy our house from us. Right?
That's so true. That is so true. And one of the things that we offer at the Cash Team is that any purchase that is done with us in the first 5 years, if you do a refinance with us, we don't charge you a processing fee, we don't charge you an appraisal fee, and we don't charge you an origination fee. It's about $4,500 worth of savings. So that's a certificate that we give to every one of our buyers that works with us, so that over the next 5 years, because we know you're going to probably refinance the next 5 years, you don't have to pay those 3 fees. So that's another, I guess I say feather in our cap that we offer at the Cash Team to ensure that you as our client are a client for life.
Right. And so, just doing the quick math in my head, that we're pushing $13,000 in savings right there, just between that 1% buy down and that first 5 year refi.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Again, guys, it's about having a plan in place, understanding why and being solutions focused. And I know we talked a lot about buying here in the summer because obviously now is a great time to buy. It's really beautiful. But a quick insider tip, if part of your plan is to buy not immediately, but you have maybe a 6-month plan, which I think we talked about is reasonable, you can, generally speaking, save some money by buying in the wintertime. Right?
Absolutely.
A lot of folks, when we talked about winter being pretty mild here, a lot of folks aren't in on that secret, right? So you can definitely, I think it's generally like a couple, 2 to 5% lower for the same house in like December and January than it would be in July or June. Right?
Well, that and also
Yeah.
rates usually go down around that time too.
Yeah.
So you can probably get a lower purchase price
Yeah.
and a lower rate all in one bundle. Now, I don't recommend that everybody wait till Christmas time to
No.
buy. I'm not saying that. But if you're in that situation, that works out for your timeline, could be a benefit.
Exactly. Let's go back to your why, guys. We're gonna find solutions for you, whether it's June or Christmas, but just keeping that in mind that there's always going to be a strategic conversation to be had.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, hey, thanks so much for your time, man. It was a ton of great things. I learned some stuff today. I honestly didn't know about the refi, but we're both here to help you out. All of our information is going to be in the video. So if you want to give us a follow, check out our emails, check out our phone numbers. If you want to reach out by email, text, whether it works. We love making these videos. We want to take all you guys individually because it's an individual plan process to buy a home. So
Absolutely.
we'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.
See ya.